Quick knife review from a little acquisition I made at the Blade Show yesterday down in Atlanta. And went looking for a couple knives. Unfortunately, I made the mistake of going on a Sunday. We had some stuff to do on Saturday, so not as much of a selection. There was a couple knives I was looking for, and this ended up being one of them. What was on the list I had a while ago, something similar, and then sold it, and kind of regretted that. We'll try and go through this because I've got a whole bunch of people at my house. My house cleaners are here. My wife's got 3 of her grandkids in from Mississippi and so we have a new puppy. So I don't know if we'll be able to get through this video with all the noise. So I hear dogs barking and people yelling no, so we're off to a great start. Anyway, this is what I ended up getting today. And I know I said, I'm not as much into OTFs and stuff anymore. I actually got rid of my Microtechs. I've got a couple of the Vespas I got out here for a comparison, and I do have my Heretics, and I really like these, so I'm just going to keep them. But, I made the mistake of playing with it. So it ended up coming home with me because it is a really cool little OTF. And we'll go over the reasons real quick why. But this is the Recon 035. I was looking for an 040. I thought I would like the larger one that would be more on par with this size. They had the Elite, which I just didn't like the styling on it, and the Elite's actually a little bigger than the 040. The 040 sits in between the 035 and the Recon Elite. And unfortunately, they sold out. They didn't have any. But they had a whole bunch of different color combinations and things, and of course I ended up going with the black and stonewash. But they did actually look cool. They have blue and red and all kinds of neat stuff. But they've also switched to LMAX since the last time I got it. I had one of these, which was a couple years ago. So this one now has LMAX instead of the S35. So from what I'm reading, LMAX is like a great super steel that it holds an edge. It's super, super tough. It's a powdered base steel. And then it isn't really that hard to sharpen. I've got my Lansky diamond rods and stuff like that, and the preset angles where you have the machine and stuff like that for putting on the right angle and stuff. So anyway, here's what we got. Stop talking. A little more showing. My puppy barks in the background. So, box, padded, warranty card, the usual stuff. And while we're talking, let me reach over here and grab a piece of paper because we'll want to do a quick sharpness test. All right, so what have we got? We have the Recon 035. This is in a stonewashed finish on the blade, and I did go with the Tanto this time. I like their Tanto. This Tanto is just very straight. And not that either has any belly on it, but this is my Heretic Cleric, which I love. I love that side button. Very nice action. But this one has the nice fuller. It's very, very light. I want to say this thing is at or under 4 ounces. Billet aluminum, LMAX blade, Tanto with a small, almost like a hollow grind on the front part, and then a flat grind here. Blade stock is fairly beefy, does have a well-supported tip. See if I can get it to focus. Come on. No. Almost. Anyway, you can see it as well as you're going to see it. What I like about this is, there's the Ultratechs. The Ultratechs, what I like about them, because they're just amazing knives, but they're very short this way. And I know that is to make it EDC friendly and all that. This is short. Get the measurements right here. Let's see if I start over here. So we're looking at a 3.5-inch blade. We're looking at a handle that is, let's see. If we go from the tip of the lanyard, let's not count that because you don't really grip that. So we're looking at about 4 1/4 on the grip for an overall length of just about 8 inches. So very EDC friendly. It's nice and thin this way, but it's a little taller this way than the UTX 85s and some of the smaller Microtechs. So while it's thin and sits in your pocket well, fairly high ride pocket clip or deep carry, but not as high as some. Not as high as something like that, obviously. But it's nice and small. It does have a lanyard hole if you care about that. But because it's thin this way, it's pocket friendly, but because it's a little taller this way, I can actually get a better grip on it. The action on this thing is second to none. The action that they have on this, the Heretic is actually really good. This is the Heretic Manticore X with the bronze wash recurve blade. I had to search high and low to find that one. And the action's good, but as far as the smoothness, you're not going to get this. And now I got a vacuum going. This is perfect. The way that these work, and it's hard to see because this is dark. Maybe you can get some. Hopefully, it's not in shadow there. But you know, the button here has machined into it some guides that follow into these grooves here, and it rides in that. You put just a little dab of grease in there, and it's fairly smooth, not a lot of friction. They take this to a whole nother level. One, this is much wider, or I guess it's not much wider. It just feels wider, but the jimping is really wide. It gets you, but it's not aggressive. Also, if you look how this is just kind of ramped gradually, where I've complained some on the Microtechs, where I guess, well, this is a copy of a Microtech, so it's quite abrasive. It can be. The Microtech's actually more abrasive, but this has that little lip there that just kind of catches the end of your thumb. And because these are nice wide jimps, I can't believe I'm doing this video and someone's gonna be vacuuming right outside my door. In any case, so I've got, God, this is distracting. I may have to redo this at a later time. We'll see if I can get through this. But just the way this is, there's something about it where it's grippy enough, but it's nice and wide. Like you can sit there and do that for half an hour and it's not gonna chew up your thumb. It's not uncomfortable. It's just a really nice actuator. The other thing that I like is that, yes, it has those grooves on the side that go in the channel here, just like the other knives do and Microtechs do and most OTFs do. But then it also has this really highly polished stainless steel plate that sits in there. And then there are a few ceramic ball bearings on the underside of this. So when I tell you, this is what you're not going to get from the video, when I tell you that this is smooth, it's on glass. I have never fired another OTF, and I have owned a lot of Microtechs and Heretics and some of the Chinese ones and and Hogues, and they're all excellent. There isn't one on the market that has an actuator like that. That thing is just absolutely brilliant. The machining's good. I do wish I had just a little more texture, but I look at this almost like a gentleman's EDC. When you look at the size difference between your full size knives, it's a good bit smaller. It's thin. The way it just sits in your pocket is really nice. It's a very nice, while being very robust, thick blade stock. It's strong. It's LMAX. The deployment is just like butter. I feel like that's kind of like a gentleman's OTF. It's along the same height, I guess, the length rather, as a UTX 85, so it falls under this, a little bit under the size of the Microtech, not by much, but a little bit. It's probably the size of a UTX 90 if there was such a thing. But like I said, when you shrink the Ultratechs, then the handles get so short this way, it's like trying to grip a pencil for me. And I feel like that fires a lot better. So size comparison real quick. If we open these up. So this is a Vespa, but it is obviously a copy of the Microtech Combat Troodon. And then we've got our Cleric, we've got our Manticore X, and you can see how that sizes up comparatively. So not crazy smaller, but it is smaller, and the thing is, it's a lot lighter. It is at least an ounce lighter. It's a good 2 ounces lighter than that. This is a very, very light knife. As far as sharpness out of the box, yeah, I mean, I'm taking off little slivers, little curly-Q slivers. That is very sharp out of the box. Does it do a push test? Beautifully. That is one of the sharper knives I've had out of the box, where it just shaves and curls little pieces without pushing and doing a simple push test. So, very nice little knife. This, I need to just, I keep saying, I put things into my rotation, but then you have so many knives that some of them just never seem to make it into the rotation. But I think this will become my primary EDC for a while. Just for the size, just for it being a real quick deploy, one-handed. It's a joy to sit there and fidget with on the couch, although it probably annoys my wife while I'm watching TV. But super smooth action, great knife. The cost is right around the size cost of a Microtech. They're $270. A lot of your Microtechs are down in that $270, $280 range. The Vespa here, I think I paid $155 for that. This was over $300. And this one actually got on sale at Blade HQ. They had a big sale on the Clerics, because I think they discontinued this particular one. But I got it, in the army green, and I think I paid $200 for it a couple years ago. They went on this blowout sale. I got one. One of my coworkers got one. Really cool knife. I love that. This is just a really nicely machined knife. The thing is, I like the Tanto blade. It's strong, it's utilitarian, but I don't know, something about the blade, because it's so straight, it just looks a little bland to me, and I think that's why this one, I think, appealed to me a little more. It's almost like a drop point Tanto, and just the way they did the grinds was a little different. So I don't know that it necessarily makes a difference as far as performance and how it cuts, but as far as stabbing goes, it's like a drop point Tanto. It's actually kind of cool. So. And it's a lot smaller, fits in my pocket better, and it's a heck of a lot lighter. Yeah, probably about 30% lighter than this big boy. So anyway, that's what we got today. I was hoping to have some others from the Blade Show, but really the pickings were kind of slim. There just wasn't all that much there. So I saw that little guy, and I saw one in red that had a black wash blade, and I almost bought that one, but I'm not real big on flashy knives that sit in your pocket, because I don't want to draw attention to the fact that I am carrying a knife. Not that there's anything wrong with it. You can carry a knife in most places. But, if you have to go in the office or something, or, whatever, it's nice to just be a little more discreet. So I went back and forth. They had blue, they had black, they had green, they had all these cool colors. And in the end, I'm like, you know what? Just give me the damn black one with the stonewash. It'll hide scuffs and things like that. It'll look good. After a while, the black will probably just get kind of distressed, which will kind of go along with that and get that sort of patina going on. But beautiful little knife, beautifully ground blade, wicked sharp out of the box. It's LMAX. The deployment is second to none. That's a very cool OTF. If you haven't looked at Guardian Tactical, you need to. I mean, there's a couple. Your kind of U.S. made OTFs, the best ones, I think, got to be your Microtech. Heretic, which in a lot of ways it's Anthony Marfione's son, so he's using a lot of the same materials, probably even using the same kind of machines, and he's learning the techniques he learned from his dad, but he's using his own designs. So I would say, for all the Microtech fanboys, don't get all upset. I would say the Heretics are on par with the Microtechs. Quality-wise, you may like the Microtech designs better, but when it comes to like the fit and finish and the materials, it's a Microtech. It's just different designs because it's the son doing them, but they're essentially Microtechs. So I think those have got to be up near your top. I like the Vespas. We're not putting them on that list. I would say you got to have your Hogues. Hogue makes a great OTF. There's a Benchmade, has a couple that are good. Although I don't like how they fit my hand. I've never liked the Benchmade. Like the Infidel, just never liked it. I like how it looks, but then when I pick it up, I'm like, it's too chunky. It's just, it doesn't do it for me. So I would say your Microtechs, your Heretics, and your Hogues are your best OTFs, US made, at least until you get up into maybe custom stuff. I believe, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, the Guardian Tactical is former Microtech employees, I think, who started this company. So again, they take what they learned, they know what materials work and how to machine properly, but then they come up with their own unique designs. So I would put a Guardian Tactical, quality-wise, up with a Microtech. So anyway, I'm about to sneeze. I have everything that could go wrong during videos. Kids shouting, dogs barking, vacuums, and then I'm having more allergies today, so I'm coughing and sneezing. So anyway, I'm going to cut it short here, and I think considering my environmental issues today with doing a video, I'm just going to call this a win. But yeah, give these guys a shot, man. They've got the 035. They have an 025, which is a smaller, even more discreet carry option. And then there is the big boy, the 040. I wish I'd gotten my hands on one, but I don't know. That one might have been too big. This is kind of, you start getting the 3.5-inch blades. That's kind of the sweet spot. I don't know if the 3.8-inch would have been just kind of a monster in my pocket. So anyway, give them a check. Guardian Tactical, really good stuff.